So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, sponsored by 1-800-DialDJs.com and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and home shopping network, capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. As a co-star of the Disney XD channel's Aaron Stone series, Tania Gunadi has a dual life. She's the girl next door to Charlie Landers, a.k.a. Aaron Stone, played by Kelly Blatz, and she's also a player in the online game that drives the show's plot. And while this might be child's play to some, Tanya is older than she may look. Much to my surprise, despite playing a teen on the show, this native of Bandung, Indonesia, and I'll probably get corrected on that, is actually 26. Now, Tanya might be a familiar face to fans of everything from Even Stevens to Boston Public, but she's also had a role on an episode of one of my favorite comedies, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, on the FX channel. Tanya, welcome to Mr. Media.
Hey, thank you, Bob. You have such a good voice, by the way.
It's too bad I messed it up on the place where you come from. How is it pronounced properly?
No, you pronounce it well, Bandung. Maybe I pronounce it wrong.
Really? No.
You make it sound better. Great. You make it sound like it's a really wonderful, it is a wonderful place, but you make it sound really nice.
Well, it's always those things that you think about ahead of time, and you think, okay, get this right, don't screw this up, and then, of course, you trip on your own tongue when you get to it.
Hey, I'm so glad you like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That must have been some experience, I'm thinking.
I had such a wonderful time. Because when I arrived to the set, one of the makeup lady told me that, you have to do it like line by line, word by word and all these things. So, and I didn't know that. I thought the style was more improvised. So I was getting nervous, and once we did our first rehearsal, and everybody was improvising, and I was the only person who was following it word by word by word, and then finally I asked the guy who played Charlie, and I said, is it okay if I improvise too, like you guys? He's like, of course, do whatever you want. And so I started doing it, and we just had a blast. I mean, it was so much fun.
Now, tell me about that episode, because, from looking it up, all I know is the character that you played. I don't know the name of the episode. I don't know what the plot was.
Right. Let me see. The title was The Gang Solves the North Korea Situation, although the gang doesn't quite understand, which side of the Koreans are the bad ones, so they keep, talking about, the South, the North. Which one is the bad one? We don't know. It was funny.
And so where did you fit in there? I'm guessing that you were, although you're not North Korean, you were probably playing North Korean?
You're right.
Or Korean, yeah.
I'm playing one of those Koreans, either North or South. And I guess I was supposed to, I played one of the girls working at the bar, the competition of Charlie's, bar, and
right.
They were having this karaoke contest and stuff, and they're trying to come in and check out my bar, and they realized that my dad, who was played by a girl, was treating me like a slave. So Charlie and the gang wanted to save me. And they told me that if I go to their bar, I can get free beer and smoke all I want and all these things. So I ended up running away from the bar, and I followed Charlie home, and we ended up kind of have a little romance and stuff, but without the kissing and all those things. And then at the end, we found out that I was only 12.
Wow.
It's cute. And, I never smoke in my life, and so, but my character, I have to smoke a lot. And for the 2 days before filming, I went to the pavilions, and I'm like, well, do you guys have any light cigarettes so I can, practice smoking? And they said, yeah, you should get this Marlboro Light. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I started smoking for 2 days, and I got so dizzy. By the time I got to the set, I was like, ooh, a little dizzy. And then I found out from the director that I could have just asked for like an herbal cigarette so I wouldn't be dizzy. But of course I found out too late.
What was the strangest thing that you had to do in that episode?
The strangest thing, let's see. Well, I had to pick up a lot of...
That's a show that's full of strange.
Yes. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I like that I get to be someone who smokes a lot and drink a lot of beers. So get drunk and making fun of people. It was fun, and I get to see Dennis, take off his shirt, and it was kind of weird. So we were all laughing, during the improvisation, and he got hurt. I was like, okay, that was like part of the scene. Please don't be hurt.
Oh my! Now I'm going to go and look up that episode because now I've got to go back and see it, and I know I've seen it before, and it sounds really familiar, so I want to go back and see that. I just, I'm thinking, did you ever see the movie Animal House?
No. Oh my gosh, I heard about it though. It's really good.
I was just thinking about it when you said that you played 12 years old on Philadelphia. One of the plots to Animal House is this girl who's always interested in one of these fraternity boys, and at the very end, they finally wind up together in a sleeping bag, I think, on the middle of a football field late at night, and she says, "I've got something to tell you," and he says, "What?" She says, "I don't know if she says I'm 12 or I'm 13." It's just like, oh my God. How do you explain casting directors putting you in so many different age ranges? And have you ever played your actual age?
No, actually, fortunately, I'm gonna say it's fortunate. I never played more than 22, which is nice. And I thought the 12 was pushing it. And when I first got the audition, I called my agent. I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because I'm like really far from 12. And he's like, "Yeah, the casting asked you to come." So I did my best, buying like a outfit to make me look younger, and doing all kinds of things to the hair and the makeup. And I was very happy that they hired me. I was like, awesome.
Wow. Now, how old is your character on Aaron Stone?
I think 16 in season 1, and then a year later we became 17. Okay. See, I can do some math here,
And how did you get the role on Aaron Stone? How did that come about?
Aaron Stone, it was really nice actually because I saw it on the breakdown, and they were looking for, I think, something like 16-year-old no, it says all-American girl, tomboy, and girl next door, and yet someone who can be good at computers and stuff. So when I first looked at it, I was thinking, oh, maybe that's not me, and my agent and my manager didn't submit me for it for like a week or two, and then it came out again on the breakdown. So I said, you know what, I think I want to go out for this. And they submitted me, and I waited for another 2 weeks, and I didn't get any call. So I said, can you just send me out one more time? And they did, and so I got called. I think I was like the last 4 people to audition for it, because they audition all over the cities, like Chicago, New York, and people are sending tapes all over the place. And I was lucky to make it. And in that audition, the casting director liked me, so I got a call back, and then I got another call back with the Disney office, with the Disney execs. And then I got a screen test with Kelly Blatz, and 4 hours later they called and they said, you booked it, and would you like to come to Toronto? I was like, sure. I don't even know where Toronto was. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Wow. That must have been an exciting day.
That was nice because technically once you screen test it, they have about, I believe, 2-3 weeks to decide. So it was nice that I didn't have to wait that long,
Well, it's interesting to me, and I was going to ask you about this anyway, but now I'm even more curious that this role was for an American, I guess an American-looking, probably kind of Anglo-looking girl. And I was going to ask you about 2 weeks ago. I spoke to Bai Ling, the Chinese actress.
Oh, I love her! Oh my gosh, yeah. And then
she was great. But it was interesting. She said that her last two roles. A Beautiful Loaf, which opened last week, and then one called Love Ranch, which is a couple weeks away. They were both written for white American women, busty white American women. And she actually replaced Denise Richards in A Beautiful Life. And she said in both films, they didn't make any changes to accommodate the fact that she was not the character as written. And I was kind of curious, it must say a lot for you as an actress, I think.
Oh, wow. It's so cool that, sorry, I'm like starstruck. You're like talking and I'm like, what? I love her. Oh my gosh. Well, I have to say, in Aaron Stone, they have changed the roles several times on the breakdown. I remember the very first time it did say All American Girl and all that stuff, and then I think towards the end they opened it up for everyone. It's for all ethnicities. So when I came into the audition, I would say there were like about maybe 30 people, and majority, white, and there are some Hispanic and blacks, and myself, and some Asians, and I think Disney is very, equal opportunity, and they open the roles a lot of times to all ethnicities at the end, which is nice, But also, I have a lot of friends who are Americans, and they booked roles that are made for Asian people. So I think it's whatever you bring to the character at the audition, and the ethnicities, they can change them easily. That's what I think.
Well, and who's to say these days what All-American Girl is or would look like? I mean,
you're right.
It seems like it must be at least 20, 25 years ago. Margaret Cho did a TV show that wasn't on very long, but it was called All American Girl. So, I think, when I was in high school, which is a long time ago, 35 years ago at least.
Yeah, right. 5 years ago.
No, it was actually 35 years ago. If you had asked me then, I think I would have said, well, All American Girl, sure, it's a white, it's a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes. Today, I wouldn't even begin to think I could describe what an All-American Girl is. So, why not you answering that description?
Hey, I like that. Yes. I usually, actors, right? I don't know about other actors. At least for me, whenever I see something in the breakdown, I always feel like, oh, I can do that. Oh, how about that one? And then my manager would be like, yeah, no. But, hey, gotta try, I like trying, giving it a shot.
Now, on Aaron Stone, just the last question about age, but are the other actors who are playing teens, are they younger than you, or are they in your age range?
Let's see. I'm sure it's okay for me to say this because they can check on IMDb, right? The guy who plays Aaron Stone, I think he's 22. Okay. And the youngest one is David, the guy who played Jason. He is actually, when we first started, he was 14, and now he's 16.
Okay.
So,
well, I spoke to a young lady named Haley McFarland a couple of days ago. She's on Lie to Me. Oh. She plays Tim Roth's daughter.
Yes, and he was also on United States of Terra, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. She played the friend of Tara's daughter on that show.
Right,
and
with
daughter's Tara's son. And, I just assumed, I didn't look it up, but looking at her, I assumed she was about 13 or 14, and then we talked, and she's 18, and I was you could have just knocked me over with a feather. I was quite surprised.
She does look 13.
I know. It makes sense. If I'm a casting director or just a director, I would think if I can find someone who is 18 or older and can play, 5 or 6 years younger, I want that person rather than the 13 or 14 or 12-year-old because, there's a maturity, and you're going to say the lines with a little more understanding, and, you're going to pull it off, whereas somebody who's 12, 13, 14, they're immature no matter how much you try, and, it's just not going to, you're just not going to get the same performance, I wouldn't think.
Also, though, if you're over 18, you can work more than 8 hours.
Right. Excellent,
right.
Excellent point.
Excellent point. Although I have to say, though, Miley Cyrus, I mean, she started it, at early age, and I thought she's awesome, her acting, and also Selena Gomez. I'm actually a big fan of both of them, and I stole their acting skills a lot. I was like, I love that. I know. I love those, the Disney kids a lot.
Oh, the things we learn on this show.
Yes. So I get really excited because nowadays, Disney has been so kind to me, and I get invited to, Selena's party or to check out Miley's or Mitchell Musso. So it's very hard for me to contain my excitement, because when I see them, I want it to like, oh my God. But I have to act cool.
I understand. Now, do you mentioned Disney. Do you feel much pressure to watch yourself in Hollywood or Toronto, as the case may be, where you're shooting, because you work for Disney and appear on a Disney channel?
Not in Toronto, because Aaron Stone actually, even though we've filmed it since the pilot, it's already more than 2 years. I think it's gonna air in 2 days in Toronto. It hasn't even aired the first episode. So when we were working there, nobody knows us from Aaron Stone.
But I mean, in terms of now that you're on a Disney you're a Disney Channel show, do you have to just think about what you do in public and how you behave, no matter where you are? That's
what you meant.
Yeah.
I never put much thought to that. I guess I'm just being myself. But I'm not a party person, I guess, so I don't have to be careful. I'm kind of boring, actually. I stay home a lot, read books, and play with my cats. Kind of boring, yeah. Maybe I should come up with a better answer.
I suspect you make Disney very happy.
And I'm very thankful for Disney for, giving me the opportunity, even though I'm not like 15 or 16. And I think they know.
Well, I know I spoke to some of the actors and actresses who are on The Secret Life of the American Teenager and Make It or Break It, which are on ABC Family. And they all said, it was interesting, they said that they're very conscious of being on a Disney show when they're out and about. But they also said that they've been working so much and so hard, they haven't had much chance to screw up because they're always working.
I hear you.
Maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I love working. I actually, most of my friends, especially while I was in Toronto, because I was there by myself, I would say most of my friends are the crew and the cast, and we just hang out on set. And after, when we go home, all we can do is just sleep and study the lines and go to work again the next day. So being on the set is like the most fun because you hang out, and at lunch you can, play some, basketball or run around and things like that. So I actually look forward to go to work. And now that I'm back for 10 days already, I really miss them. I miss fighting and having lots of weapons, because I always have lots of because of my character, I have my own room where I have like more than 20 different kinds of guns and gadgets, and I always play there, during break time and, examine each weapon because they make it really real, and it's, I don't know, I'm kind of like, geeking out there.
I imagine you're trained pretty carefully in the use of all these.
Yes, and don't be afraid. They're all made from plastic. They just look real, and but they're all safe. And we have lots of in the case of the fighting, we have lots of people in the stunt team, and there are always people who are watching you and making sure that no one is going to hurt each other.
I was going to say you shoot in Toronto. Toronto, having just been there twice the last couple of years, has an incredible multicultural aspect to that city, more so than most places in North America, I think. Do you have you had the opportunity to get out and see the city and people, or you really locked up pretty much most of the time you're there?
Yeah, actually, my first season, I would say the second season I have double or triple the amount of scenes than the first season. So during the first season, I have like three out of 8 days, free. So those times, I would go to, Niagara Falls, and I take a lot of tours by myself. I think people are like thinking maybe I'm weird because, I don't know anyone else and everyone is at work. So I just like sign up for tours, and I would go to the zoo and waterboat tour and sailing tour and all kinds of stuff. I like that, actually. I've never really traveled by myself or like hang out by myself like that. So being in Toronto, it was my first time doing those things. But I met lots of...
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
no, please,
Norman.
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I met a lot of interesting people. Some of them want to hang out again, and but I try not to tell them what I do because then sometimes they get really excited and they want to come to set, and sometimes I can't bring too many people to set,
Darn, I was just going to ask you if you could bring me on set. No, I'm just kidding.
You can come.
I'm just kidding. But and Toronto has a magnificent zoo. If anyone's listening is interested in those things, it's a tremendous zoo up there. Now, do I understand correctly that you worked on this year's Star Trek film, but were ultimately cut from it?
Yeah, yes, that's right. But I will say, though, working on Star Trek with J.J. Abrams is like, oh my God, it was so amazing. Because my part, there were like 6 aliens who were, who has like major alien makeup. Like mine, for example, it takes about 5 hours in the morning to put it on, and to take it out takes 3 hours. And we did like about 11 days of fitting to make it work, because my alien is actually really beautiful. Like, my ears would move as I walk, and I have like a really long tail, really cute. And I truly enjoy working with him. He's so nice and always caring, always ask me every like 10 minutes, can you breathe? Are you okay? Do you need some air? Because I can't breathe through my nose. I need to get straws. So he's like, do you want straws? Do you need to breathe? And after every take, he always asks. But yeah, unfortunately, I didn't make it to the final cut, but still, I thought it was cool.
Well, if you had made it, what part of the movie would we have seen you in?
I have 3 scenes, and one of them was with Captain Kirk, and I'm basically, what happened that day, we were shooting at the Budweiser place, and something happened, and I guess we just couldn't make it happen. But it was in the scene where his hand got swollen, and then he had the realization. So that's one of the deeper scenes. It was good, though. Don't you think that was such a good? It was such a big production. I was there. I was there for while I was there watching other people doing it. Like when they were doing the major green screen, and it was just amazing. I was so happy to be part of it.
And I would imagine that any woman who knows that you worked in a scene with Chris Pine wants to know, is he, is he everything he seems to be?
Yeah.
Yes. There you go.
He is. Yeah. He's so cute, and oh my gosh! Even though when his hand was swollen, I was like, oh my gosh, he's hot. And I couldn't talk much because I have to control my breathing because it's really cold. and my entire face is covered. So when I speak, I can't get too excited because then my breathing would not be good. So when I saw him, I was like, "Hi, how are you? Oh my gosh!" And he's so kind because after the scene, we walked outside and it was really cold, and he's like, "Oh, do you need a jacket? Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I just need a hug."
and I assume that he delivered.
He delivered. He's like, "Okay, weird alien."
well,
I don't know if he knows I'm a girl or a guy because, I'm all covered, so he probably doesn't know. Although he should know because I was wearing a skirt. I was an alien with a skirt.
Did he ever see just how pretty you are without the makeup?
Sure.
Oh, he did. Okay.
No, he actually never. No. I thought you were kidding.
Oh, no, I was serious.
Oh, no, we never get out. We do the makeup in a secret, makeup room, and then you go outside and they cover you with, an umbrella and lots of, how do you call it? Like, they basically cover you up so you only meet the actors on set. So nobody has ever seen, nobody knows who is inside the alien faces. By the time you arrive, you're already full in makeup.
So you could meet Chris Pine on the street tomorrow, and he wouldn't know that you had been in a scene with him and that he had given you a hug.
He wouldn't know, and if I tried to convince him, I don't know if he would believe me.
Wow. And I have to ask you, how did you find out that you had been cut?
Oh, my gosh. I actually went. I went with my entire family. I was like, "Oh, my gosh, let's watch this, in the movie theater."
Oh, no.
And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm not there, but Chris Pine is there." So.
Oh, how tough.
But it's okay, I don't think I've ever been cut out before, but I have to say it's my, because right before filming the movie, I watched, I don't know, maybe like 40 episodes of Star Trek and like 3 or 4 movies, and I have to say that J.J. Abrams did a wonderful job. I mean, even people who don't care about Star Trek, love that movie. That movie is so good.
You want a shot at the sequel?
Yeah, that would be awesome, right? That would be awesome. This time I would make sure, hey, let's make sure the alien works here.
Wow. Well,
there were a lot of technical difficulties with my costume, but it's okay.
Oh, wow. Well, before we have to wrap it up, I'm just wondering, beyond the season of Aaron Stone that you're shooting now, I guess, what do you have anything booked ahead? Are you doing anything when this is over? Actually,
right now I'm focusing. I just finished producing my first short film, and we are in the process of, sound mixing and coloring the movie, and hoping to be able to enter it to the festivals, and have like a small premiere for friends and casting and directors and stuff. So that's where my focus is right now.
Great. Well, when that's ready to go, you'll have to come back and talk to us about it.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to have you. And folks, listen, you can catch Tania Gunadi in new episodes of Aaron Stone on the Disney XD channel every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And Tanya, it was a lot of fun, and thanks so much for joining us on Mr. Media today.
Bob, thank you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. We'll look for more of you. Hopefully we'll see you in that sequel.
I hope so, too. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. And, folks, for more interviews with today's young TV stars, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Haley McFarland and Monica Raymond of Lie to Me, and many more of your favorites. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote for Mr. Media, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, blogcritics.org, TrueSlant, Pointer Online, Digital Journal, Vox, Mediafly, Podfeed.net, Blueberry, Zencast, Zimbio, Current, or Odeo. Subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes and subscribe for free. Or subscribe to Mr. Media's blog on the Amazon Kindle Reader. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many locations. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman.com. That's ANDELMAN. You can also follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, www.twitter.com/Andelman. Thanks so much for joining us today. Always appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media.